Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. If this is your very first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, hey girl, hey, welcome back. You know, I'm glad to have you here for this labor and delivery story I have been itching to tell you guys. I was in labor for a total of about 4 hours. Y'all, it just happened so fast. Okay, so if you have watched like my pregnancy updates and things like that, then you know that I have been having contractions for weeks. I was having prodromal labor, so like I would have contractions that were like super duper strong, and actually went to the hospital a couple of times, you know, thinking that I was in active labor, but then the contractions would just stop. So I had been praying. I was like, God, let these contractions be doing some work and not just be for nothing, because I was in so much pain for so long. God answered my prayer, y'all. I went in for my induction at 4 a.m. I was there for about 2 hours before they started the Pitocin. They started with 2 units of the Pitocin, and they were like, you know, we can go up to, I think they said they can go up to 20, but they were like, we're just gonna start really slow. So I was like, okay, cool. I figured I would be there. We were making bets. I said, we'll probably be here till at least like 5 p.m. And that was just me being hopeful, like hoping it didn't take longer than 12 hours. So it was just me and my husband there at first. I didn't start having contractions right away. I think it was probably about an hour or 2 in. They bumped the Pitocin up to 4 units, and that is when the contractions came. It was like it went from nothing to like boom. Mind you, I was 4 centimeters when I got to the hospital. So the contractions came, and they came like, y'all, I'm telling you, like in the middle of these contractions, and I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way, it's like something comes over you and you're like, I am never doing this again. Because that pain is just something that is just out of this world. Like it's a lot. And so, you know, I'm just going through these contractions. I'm like squeezing my husband's hand, like just freaking out. My nurse came in a little bit later and she was like, do you want that epidural? Girl, I could barely get the words out, but I was like, yes, please. So I ended up having contractions for about an hour. Worst pain of my life. And I've had a child before, which is why I don't understand why it like shocked me. The doctor came in to give me my epidural, and I was having contractions in the middle of him trying to stick the epidural in. But girl, like once it got to flowing, I was a happy girl. Like in my blog, I tell you, like, I can't feel my legs right now. I'm in heaven. Like, this is amazing. Laying in bed, and by this time my mom gets there, so we're just talking, and we ended up having a conversation about donating cord blood, because when I got there they asked me did I want to donate cord blood, but I didn't know what she was talking about. She was talking super fast, and I just was like, no, because I didn't know what it was. So my mom was like, why don't you ask the lady to come and tell you more about it? I would actually like to do a separate video on that, because I think it's kind of cool. I think it's an amazing opportunity to help somebody else, and it doesn't cost you anything. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the lady comes in, she's talking to me about donating cord blood. All of a sudden I feel this gush, and I literally like jumped up out of my thing. I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm pretty sure my water just broke. So the doctor was actually supposed to break my water around 10 o'clock. But she was like running behind, so she didn't get a chance to come in and break it. She was going to come a little bit later, but it broke on its own, and the party got started. So they checked, they're like, yes, that was your water. And I just started seeing people like move a little bit faster. Another nurse comes in and she's like, I want to check your cervix to see how far you are. By this time I had started feeling like pressure. It was a familiar pressure, but it wasn't like enough pressure to make me feel like, oh, I have to push right now. So I was just talking to my mom, and I was like, I feel things, like maybe my epidural is wearing off. I don't know. The lady comes in to check my cervix, and she's checking, and she's kind of making this face, And I was like, if this lady says I'm still at a 4, like, I'm just gonna be devastated. And that was just what was going through my mind, because with my first son, I stayed at a 4 for like a really long time. So that is what I was expecting. Y'all, she was like, you're 9 centimeters. Scratch that. You're 10 centimeters. It's time to push. And I was like, what? Like, at this time, I had probably been in labor about 3.5 hours. And I'm like, there's no way I'm already at 10 centimeters. Like, there's no way. So she was like, yeah, it's time to push. Like, she starts pulling off the table. She told the other nurse to go tell the doctor that it was time to push. And by this time, that pressure is like serious. So now I'm like clamping my legs together, like holding the baby in, because I'm like, oh crap, like it's for real time to push. The doctor comes. She is super sweet. This is the same doctor who set me up for the induction. So I've been telling my family, like, I am putting her on the list for a Christmas card, present, whatever, because she's like my favorite person in the world right now. Like, she hooked me up. So anyway, she comes in. My first push, she was like, I see his head. And she started playing with the baby's hair, my mom said. Like, they could not believe. They're like, oh, he's almost out. 3 pushes, he was halfway out, but she let me like slow down. She was like, you don't have to rush, you know. She was like, take a deep breath, next contraction, push again. So she let me like slowly push him out, and even though it only took 5 pushes, I just felt like she was the best coach. It just felt like such a serene and a wonderful environment. And my baby came out. They laid him on me, and I just held him, and I just, you know, love at first sight is literally the only way that I can explain it. He is my second child, and I was very, very worried when I first got pregnant about having another baby, because number one, I don't know if I have what it takes to be a mom to 2 children, and like, how is my heart gonna make room for another baby? Like, I love this one child so much. Like, is it possible to love another human being the way that I love my son? And let me tell you, like, if that's a fear that you have about having a second child, your heart just grows instantly. It's like I saw him and everything made sense. It was like, oh, my heart just grew, and it's like, this is my baby. Like, I just fell in love, and I knew, you know, that my heart was big enough for the both of them, and it was just really beautiful. So that is my labor and delivery story. My son is 2 weeks old now, and we are doing really well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe, stick around, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.